64 teams has now become 32. Cascade Hoops Talk starts right now. Hey, happy Saturday to everybody. Well, day one of the NAIA men's basketball tournament has happened. And as I said, 64 teams have now become 32. So why don't we just go quadrant by quadrant, pod by pod, and we'll see where we're at, what happened last night, yesterday, and what we can expect today. Why don't we start over in the Naismith quadrant down in Caldwell, Idaho, place I've been many times. Out of that pod, College of Idaho and the Friends have survived. Friends earlier on Friday, they defeated Florida Memorial 63-60. A good 8-9 game, a very competitive game for Friends. Randy Wolf Jr., 13 points, 5 rebounds. And then a bit later in the day, the College of Idaho defeated UC Merced 59-46. A defensive struggle. Every game with UC Merced involved is a defensive struggle. Samaji Morgan, he had 13 points for the College of Idaho. So the stage is set in that pod. Friends will play the College of Idaho at 8 p.m. Central tonight. All 16 games, remember, are today. Let's take a peek over at Langston, Oklahoma, where Langston and Central Baptist have survived. Langston, they defeated St. Mary, Kansas, 64-51. Jamison Epps, 10 points, 10 rebounds. They move on. And Central Baptist defeated William Carey. Result that surprised a few people. William Carey was a little bit better seeded. Central Baptist doesn't seem to be quite as strong as last season. Watch them prove me wrong. But a big win for Central Baptist. And they will play Langston today at 4 p.m. Central. That's going to be a good matchup. It's going to be there in Langston. That's going to give the Lions, I think, the advantage. Over in Huntington, Indiana, Huntington survived, as did Northwestern. Huntington defeated Lords 77-51, a little bit of crossroads whack action there. Lane Sparks, 25 points, 3 rebounds for the Foresters. And Northwestern, they defeated Graceland 99-75. Alex Van Kalsbeek, 27 points, 3 rebounds. So those two, Huntington and Northwestern, they're going to go at it today. I don't have the time. It didn't come up on the schedule, but check your local TV schedules on that one. Let's go down to Georgetown, Kentucky, where Georgetown and St. Francis, Indiana, the Cougars, those two have survived. Georgetown, they defeated LSU Shreveport 92-78. Andres Burney, 24.7 rebounds for the Tigers in that game. And St. Francis, Indiana, the Cougars, they defeated LC State 81-73. Isaiah Malone, 24 points, 9 rebounds. They really handled Alton Hamilton, LC State's center that really has given a lot of people a lot of trouble. Big win for St. Francis. So Georgetown, they're going to play St. Francis at 4 p.m. Central today. Remember, all 16 games are today. Over in the Kramer quadrant at Glendale, Arizona, that's the home of Arizona Christian. Arizona Christian and Oregon Tech, they have survived out of that pod. Earlier in the day, Oregon Tech defeated Indiana Tech 87-78. Keegan Shivers, 20 points and 3 rebounds in that game. And Arizona Christian, they defeated Westcliff, a pesky Westcliff, 72-54. So Arizona, and in that game, Anthony Howell, 17 points, 3 rebounds. So Arizona Christian will face Oregon Tech at 6 p.m. Central. I think that's 7 p.m. actually. I think that's actually 7 p.m. Central today because it's 5 p.m. Pacific. Yeah, 7 p.m. Central. Arizona time gets tricky. That's all I'll say. and I'll just leave it alone. Williamsburg, Kentucky pod, the Cumberlands, they survived. Well, I guess it is survive and advance, right? Cumberland's defeated Milligan 85-71. Anthony Johnson, who has had just a tremendous final third of the season, he had 25 points, 4 rebounds. And Mobile, it took them double overtime to get by IU Northwest, University of Northwest in Indiana University Northwest. It took them double overtime to get by them, 99-91. BJ Comer, 24 points, 5 rebounds for Mobile. And so Mobile will play Cumberland's at 2 p.m. Central. Again, check your local listings for all these times, because I just scrolled through and I tried to convert everything to Central, and told you before I went to Klamath Union. I don't know. Down in Dalton, Georgia, St. Mary of the Woods, they really surprised Dalton, especially on their home floor there. 74-67, big win for the St. Mary of the Woods. Greg Jenkins, 18 points, 4 rebounds. And Ave Maria, they defeated Xavier 88-84. It took them overtime to do it. Jack Watkins, 30 points, 10 rebounds. That's, as I say, a big boy double-double. So St. Mary of the Woods is going to take on Ave Maria for that opportunity to go to Kansas City at 6 p.m. Central today. Over in Winona Lake, home of Grace, the Grace defeated Carolina. Their Cinderella season ended today. Grace made sure of that. 121-69. Ian Roush, 22 points, 12 rebounds. And Pikeville defeated St. Francis out of Illinois, the Chicagolands team, 86-84, one of the more competitive games of the day. Nick Niego, 17 points in that one. So Grace will take on Pikeville at 4 p.m. Central today. Again, these are all today. Down in Henderson, Tennessee at Freed Hardeman. Freed Hardeman, they beat IU Southeast 69-57. Brian Carter, 14 points. And in the other game, this was another battle. These two teams, I wonder how many times they've played each other over the years. Spring Arbor defeated Cornerstone 83-81. Travis Grayson for Coach Cottingham's team was just fantastic. 33 points, 5 assists. So Freed Hardeman will take on Spring Arbor at 2 p.m. Central. Down in Marion, of course, that's the home of Indiana Wesleyan. Indiana Wesleyan and Life, they survive in that pod. Indiana Wesleyan defeated Madonna 96-77. A couple of teams that have probably played each other at least a million times. Cademan Bontrager, 28 points, 9 rebounds. So the Wildcats move forward. And Life defeated Johnson 93-82. Johnson's dream season, it ends. First-year head coach Logan Tharp, he did a great job there. Chase Harris, 23 points, 5 rebounds, 12 assists. So Indiana Wesleyan, the Wildcats will take on the Life Running Eagles at 2 p.m. Central today. Down in Santa Clarita, the late games, the Masters and Southern Oregon survive out of that pod. Southern Oregon, they defeated Montana Tech. Montana Tech really put a run on them at the end, but Southern Oregon hung on and hit their free throws, 84-81. Gabe Reichel, 21 points in that game. And the Masters, another game. The Masters was up by 21 or maybe more, but I think 21. And Dakota Wesleyan came back down the stretch, the last, 7-8 minutes, it was a 2-point game with 5 seconds to go. The Masters hung on, and they won this game 69-65. Caleb Lowry, 20 points, 12 rebounds. But what do they say about, hanging on and winning by 2 or 4, survive and advance? So the Masters will play Southern Oregon at 7 p.m. Central. Yeah, you might double check that. It might have been 7 p.m. Pacific. Double check that time. The NAIA, once they get all of them up on the NAIA scoreboard, they'll be there too as well. I'll double check all these and update them too. And you can find this document is tagged or not pinned on the X. And also the link is in the description of the YouTube, and the link is also in the description at Spotify. Down in West Palm Beach, Florida, William Woods and Kaiser move on after day one. Kaiser defeated Faulkner 90-75. Vince Miskowitz, a double-double, of course, 29 points, 13 rebounds. William Woods, they move on. They just pounded Dillard 110-62. Kevin Taylor, 24 points, 10 rebounds. Kaiser will take on William Woods at 4 p.m. Central. And finally, down in the Liston quadrant, LSU Alexandria and Nelson, they survive out of that pod. Nelson, they defeated Middle Georgia State 85-74. C.J. Hall, 20 points, 3 rebounds. LSU Alexandria, they defeated Stillman. Stillman gave them a hard time. I mean, it was a 1-16 matchup. Stillman really acquitted themselves well. Final score 83-76. Who is the high scorer for Alexandria? Oh, 2 guesses, and the first one doesn't count. Cashy Nat, 27 points, 13 rebounds. LSU Alexandria is going to take on Nelson today. I don't know the time. Look it up. Check your local listings. They don't have a time listed yet. Over in Mishawaka, the home of Bethel. Bethel and Morningside both survive out of that. That's going to be a great game. Bethel defeated Peru State 83-69. Luke Phillip McBride, one of the best shooters in Indiana, 15 points, 3 rebounds. And Morningside defeated Hope International 86-77. Joey Scoff, 24 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. So that's going to be a great game. Two great programs, Morningside and Bethel. I respect them both immensely. And, one of them is going to go to Kansas City. They'll play at 2:30 Central. Baldwin City, the home of Baker. Baker and Concordia survived. Concordia, they defeated Bethel, Kansas style, 79-76. Noah Shutt, 23 points, 10 rebounds for the playoff double-double. And Baker, they defeated Texas Wesleyan 72-58. Ahmed Magoob, he's had just an unbelievably big year for Baker this season, 17 points. Baker going to take on Concordia at 6 p.m. Central. Over in Dort, in Sioux Center, Dort, they just pounded Dickinson State, 90-58. Lucas Lorenzen, 24 points, 11 rebounds for the double-double. And Oklahoma Wesleyan defeated Mid-America Christian, 80-69. Never, ever bet against Coach Bostwick, I'm telling you. Derek Talton Jr., 30 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Oklahoma Wesleyan is going to play Dort. That's going to be a good game at 3 p.m. Central today. That is what happened today. That is what's happening tomorrow. Turn on your TV tomorrow. Watch all 16 games because there will be a test and a grade on a curve. Once more, I want to remind everybody the link to the score tracker that I have. That's a Substack article. It's a score tracker. You can get it, the pinned post on X. The link is also in the YouTube description of this show, and it is also in the description of the Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. It will be down in the description of the show. You can find it there. And as I said, 16 games today. There'll be a test later. It's the greatest time of year, man. It's wall-to-wall basketball. We'll talk to everybody tomorrow. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for supporting our podcast. Please like and subscribe. Get out to your local NAIA school because NAIA basketball is the best entertainment value in America.